situation in Malaysia. So it was very interesting for me to be here with you. First thing I will do is to share all information you provided us with share it with my colleagues here in the Belgian Senate, but as well, and it might be important, with our European colleagues, colleagues in European Parliament and European institutions. That for sure we will do. But I have two questions, if you allow me. First is about use of violence. It must be hard. I have heard your testimonies. I've listened to you very well. And I have a question about the use of violence. Do you have some people in your communities who feel actually should use violence as well to maintain our goals, to try to fight the oppression of Malaysian authorities? Because it's an important question. Second question, as you look to the future, do you see your minorities, your people being part of Malaysia in another way? Are you looking for maybe not independence, but self-determination for your communities? And what are your thoughts about that subject and the way the Malaysian state, the federation, should be organized in the future to give you more rights and access to education and all things you need? So those are just two questions.
Okay. The Indian community in Peninsula and also the Chinese and other minorities, and I also believe my friends will agree with me from the Borneo, none of us believe in violence. There's no issue about violence. There is no issue about taking up arms to go against the government. None of us believe in that. All that we are asking for is for Malaysia to respect international standards of democracy and human rights. If they start doing this, and then the minority communities in Malaysia will live a better life, will have respect and dignity, and they can live with dignity. Of course, I think my friends from the Borneo island have a special request. I think they are looking at more than that, a step further in terms of self-determination, and so that part of it, I think they are best to answer. But on our side, we do not look for self-determination. We are part of Malaysia, so we want to live as people with dignity.
And respect is
yes.
Thank you.
Maybe you can add.
Yeah, from the inception of formation of Malaysia, we went to understand that we are supposed to be autonomy. I mean, a partner for Malaysia. Malaysia means Singapore, Sabah, Sarawak, and Malaya. That is our understanding. That is what Tun Rahman says in Sabah when Malaysia was formed. So, but as time comes, it's not like that we've been so changed, we've been as if that we have been recolonized. First, Sabah was a colony of Great Britain. We thought that after Great Britain will be autonomous, independent. But in fact, we have been recolonized. So we have been asking about autonomy, but we will be prevented because of this ISA. They use this ISA to arrest my mentor, Dr. Jeffrey Kitam, has been in detention for more than 2 years because of fighting for our rights. We are not fighting what is not ours. We want what is ours. And again, in terms of violence, you look at Sabahan people. These Sabahan now, they are weak, humble, and then they are naive. And then their mentality that you slap me on the other side, if they are side. So, talking about violence, there is no such thing. And what more, the government has this ISA to arrest you. So, we want to use peaceful means to get what is ours. Remember, to get is what is ours. We are not asking what is not ours. See? So, the formation of Malaysia is day. So everything is written. National agreement, the Global Commission, the IGC, then it's there. It's a matter of we want to get it. But then Malaya doesn't want us to become rich. They want us to be poor. That's why they never want to give us autonomy. But that is for that reason that we are here. We try to lobby the international community to talk to Malaysia that look, these people asking what they want, what is their shortcoming, prevent them. See, as simple as that. We are not asking for the difficulty. We are asking what is ours. That's all. So I did mention here in our request that last but not least, in notwithstanding the plea for compliance with the 1963 Malaysian Agreement, we urge the United Nations, relevant international organizations, and the international community to probe and conclude whether the Federation of Malaysia still exists in law after the departure of Singapore in 1963 and the status of Sabah and Sarawak. So, if there is no one, if the international community says there is no agreement, then we can talk terms. Okay, we may leave on our own. But if there is if the agreement still exists, so we want to talk what is our autonomy. That's what we said. Self-determination. Thank you.
And gentlemen, please. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to add a few points responding to the Bruins. Two questions: the use of violence to fight these reprisal laws. I don't think any of us, either the leaders in Peninsula or in East Malaysia, the state of Sabah and Borneo, are instigating the people at the moment. What we fear and afraid of is that naturally violence will set in into these deprived communities, the native, the people like us, and we will not be in control to avoid even civil war. Because this had happened in other parts of the world. In fact, in Sabah and Sarawak, this could have exploded years ago because this disenfranchising, marginalizing, reprisal had been there for the past 40 years. But we were very patient, peace-loving people, and those leaders, pardon me for saying, the Muslim-dominated leadership in Kuala Lumpur, in West Malaysia, have taken advantage of our goodness. But we cannot guarantee that there will be peace forever in Borneo. And mind you, in early 2000s, but this is not in Sabah and Sarawak, but in Kalimantan. The Indonesian government from 1970s, 80s, they have this police trans-migration program where they send people from Java, Bali, Celebes out of these islands into Borneo, Kalimantan. And they blend quite well with the natives in Kalimantan. The natives there are the Dayaks, the Ibans, and the Banjaris. Most of those transmigrants from other islands from Indonesia are Muslims. But in early 2000s, there was very bad bloodshed there. I think thousands, especially of these outsiders from islands who were brought into Kalimantan, were beheaded, by the Dayaks. I am not telling you a lie, you can check this online on Kalimantan. I think most of those happen in West Kalimantan and Central Kalimantan maybe. Because the natives the Dayaks in Kalimantan, Borneo, they could not stand the pride, the hegemony of these federally supported people who were sent to Borneo, and they are Muslims. So there was this civil war, and thousands, it's not hundreds, thousands of them died. Many of them are beheaded because these Dayaks are notorious for headhunting in those olden Yeah, so we cannot guarantee this will not happen in Sabah and Sarawak. As I said, we share similar um, cultural traits with these people. Most of us are good Christians, so-called good Christians. We are not instigating or promoting this. In fact, we are promoting peace. In fact, Daniel and myself and our colleagues in Sabah, we are under pressure to look for ways and means to, because we preempt, this will happen, it will explode, we never know. So, that's why we are here, enlightening the international community, the grave situation beneath the surface of so-called peaceful Borneo, Malaysia, everything is okay. Regarding the second question, self-determination, I think this should be the perfect answer if we are granted, because as Daniel said, Sabah and Sarawak are very rich if we are allowed to manage our own resources, and we should be allowed if the federal respect the 20 points for Sabah, the 18 points assurances for Sarawak, because under these assurances and pledges, we should be running our own state. Sabah and Sarawak, not the same states with 11 states in Peninsula. Sabah and Sarawak should be autonomous. We control our immigration, the finance. We can even raise funds outside of Sabah. We should. That should be the assurance. But this was never respected. Federal insisted you must come under us. If you want to go outside to do trade, must come under this ministry, International Trade Ministry. Cannot go on your own. Even the immigration now in Sabah is, I can say, fairly claim that the Chief Minister has no that power, even though the provision was never repealed. But because the Chief Minister of Sabah also is a proxy of this UMNO party. Unlike previous, we have our own state parties. Now, this UMNO also extended this party in Sabah, and the Chief Minister is from UMNO. So, of course, our Chief Minister, the Sabah Chief Minister, he is answerable, he listens to the boss. And no more the boss, the people is not his boss. We are in a very difficult situation actually, Mr. Senator De Bron. But if there is a way, I think self-determination, if we are allowed, maybe we can even contribute more to the prosperity of the whole region, not only in Sabah and Sarawak. We could even do even better than Brunei, because Brunei is such an enclosed state, even very rich with only 400,000 population, but they don't contribute much because it's a controlled state by absolute monarch. We would like to explore that idea and become friends to the world, and really make Borneo a good place for all of us. We really want to avoid catastrophe in Borneo. We already have having this environment, I think, by the thousands of acres. They just destroyed the virgin forest and replaced them with palm oil plantations. And these palm oil plantations in Sabah, Sarawak, and now in Kalimantan are controlled by the proxies of those in power. But of course, if you come to Sabah, just like the EU delegation a few months ago, they will tell, our government will tell you everything is under control, everything is okay, they're happy. Thank you.